This is the White Cloud Temple. I think it dates back to the 780s, but mostly rebuilt in the Qing dynasty. One of the three largest temples of the sect of Taoism established by Zhang Daoling. Name changed to White Cloud Taoist Temple when being repaired Imperial Edict Yangle Ming Dynasty.
I think the Chinese introduction and English introduction match with each other.
Yeah, they're a bit different. I think it was 10. Brief introduction. Beijing Bai Yanguan, White Cloud Temple. Beijing Bai Yanguan is honored as the chief temple of the three ancestral temples of Chuen, Zhen, Complete Reality, Taoist tradition. Originally called Tianchangguan, Temple of Eternal Heaven, built 741. Emperor Xuanzang, Tang Dynasty. Song Dynasty renamed Tai Gong at the beginning of the Yuan Dynasty. Master Cui Changchun was appointed to this temple by Emperor Genghis Khan to preside over Taoism in China, upon which it was renamed Changchun Gong, Temple of Eternal Spring. After Cui Changchun's ascension to heaven, Chu Chun Tong was built to enshrine his physical remains. A hall located east of Changchun Gong in the early Ming Dynasty. The temple was ruined by war. Only Chu Shun Tong remained to become the center of rebuilding. The temple was then renamed Bai Yangguan. 3 extensive renovations since the People's Republic. Support Chinese government. Traditional magnificence. 10,000 square meters. 19 deity halls. Carefully lined north-south axis. Rear garden. Overall temple is about 60,000 square meters. Master Lu's Pagoda. We're here. So walk up the center axis and make a loop around the side halls. To get here, I took line 2 to line 1, changing at Fuxing Men, and then did Mushi D stop. Got off at Fuxing Men. My travel partner there thought she knew how to take a bus, but we got off on the wrong side of the highway. All the stuff was going north. So I said, let's just go back and take line 1, easier. If something's less than a half-mile walk, I don't worry about waiting for a bus. It's never time effective. Turn off that autofocus. It's gonna annoy me. I understand why. I updated this third-party app and they made it a little more tricky, but for whatever reason, whenever I tap the focus, it starts a new video. It wants to go back into the autofocus, and then you tap the focus and it's on manual focus. Most temples are pretty similar in their layout. Usually the entrance faces south. Everything else is on a line with each other. There's a Taoist temple I went to out towards San Latun. Today's December 30th. That one over by San Latun, I think, has a big spring fair is what it's known for. What is that one? Let me look it up. I think the one I'm thinking of. Let's see. Kinda over. No. Dongye. That's it. Dongye Temple. By the couple malls over there. Workers Stadium. What stop is it? Chaoyangmen, I guess. That's the other Taoist hall. Yuhuang Deity Hall. I wanted to do this the other day. I was over by the Capitol Museum. Ran out of time. I kicked myself this trip. I knew it would turn out this way. I don't know why I thought it would be any different. You can't travel with people if you want to be productive in your time. It never works out well. I think the mistake I made this time was accepting an invitation that I knew would not materialize into an actual accommodation. The last minute, oh, you can't stay with me for whatever reason, out of my control, my roommate doesn't like it. Okay. So then you end up getting a really shitty hostel, and you gotta change rooms 3, 4, 5 times, back and forth, move your stuff around, unpack, check out completely, check back in, move across town to a different hostel, they have a room, they don't have a room, and then you're with someone, and is it gonna be a nice day? Well, today's a nice day, but I'm tired, I wanna do that. So, it's a really nice day, but it's a Monday, we could have gone up to Badaling, but the museum up at Badaling would be closed. They have a little museum there for the Great Wall, but it's closed on Mondays, so first couple days that were really nice. I was here, didn't do a whole lot. It's like, you're better off just saying, well, I'm going to make my own reservation 6 months in advance. You're welcome to join me, but you could stay over maybe 1 or 2 nights, but that's it, because I want to get up early and do stuff, and we'll meet you for dinner. And if you want to hang out, this is what I'm doing that day. You're welcome to come. If you don't like it and you're wearing the wrong shoes and you're really tired, I'll see you later. No hard feelings. So even now, she's with me, but I don't know. She's not feeling well. And she's waiting up front there. I don't know what she's doing. She didn't say what I don't know. I saw the look on her face when we walked in. I was like, ugh. I'll just let you sit there then. If you don't feel well. She threw a temper tantrum the other day. Didn't want to go to the last museum we were going to do. She insisted we had to go to 798. We had about an hour and a half to walk around there before things really started closing up. It was a Saturday night, so I think things may have been open a little later than usual, but I think we got there about 4:30. Most things were pretty much closed by 6 or even earlier, 5. It was nice enough to walk around, but she didn't want to do it the next day and make a day out of going to the Railway Museum that's up there and the National Film Museum that's up there. Gotta make more sense, because it's a taxi ride to get up there. Kind of out of the way, half hour to get up there by taxi. Might as well see the other stuff that's up in that area, same day. That's the thing, it's really hard to plan stuff, unless you say, this is my agenda, you are welcome to come, I would enjoy your company, wear comfortable clothing, and here's the plan if you get tired for whatever, I don't have to worry that my bag's at your place, I don't have a choice. That's what happened to me the day on Saturday. I had one of my bags at her place, and she gave me an ultimatum, like, I'm not going to that museum. I'm like, well, I have to go with you, because my bag's at your place, and I don't have internet or cell mobile phone service, so what can I do? And then they were going to come here to go to the Capitol Museum. We wasted the 2 hours in the morning, because she didn't tell me until like 9:30 the night before that we weren't going to stay that night in that room. It's like, oh, thanks for telling me. You need this when? So waste 2 hours in the morning packing, planning for going to the Great Wall, maybe staying a night, and that never materialized. The whole concept, I think, of Tao, the way a Tao is, I understand it, which I've never really heard a very good explanation of it, because it's such an esoteric and mysterious religion, is that you have to follow your intuition with things, and you accept things at face value, but you don't judge them too much and read into them as being good or bad. They just are. And you have to learn to live in harmony with nature. There's a big thing about nature, I think, at least there was to Taoism. I don't know that people who are Tao now do it so much, retreating into nature, hermetics and all that kind of stuff, but so you shouldn't get too wrapped up in, most religions don't get too wrapped up in this life. Try not to be so judgmental about things, which is a good philosophy to have, so much as you apply it to your own personal, objective experiences, and don't get wrapped up in, I need to burn incense at the altar and throw money in. Because then you're just feeding the bureaucracy of the religion. It's relatively meaningless unless you actually find some spiritual comfort in it, which I find hard to imagine if you have a brain. Yeah, I got about as much out of this as I did at the other Taoist temple. At least at the other Taoist temple, they did have a little museum and gallery to look at. No riding the pony. It's like perfect for riding. How can they put a pony there with a little perfect saddle and tell you not to ride it? Good luck. Jingxi.com. I do try not to get mad at people because I know it's hard to travel with me, because most people, if you're not the one doing the planning and saying this is where I'm going, and I have some frame of reference for doing it and a reason to do it just because maybe it's there and you're in that frame of mind. Like a lot of people, if you tell them you're doing one thing that day, they'll be fine with that. But then if you change plans and say, well, I don't think we should do that today because XYZ, then you change plans, they'll get all in a bother, and you think, well, you're just kind of along for the ride, so it really shouldn't matter. But it's hard to kind of say, oh yeah, well, today's real sunny and nice, let's do that instead of this. a nice picture, actually. Where are we? Now we're in the side hall temples, I guess, huh? We must be somewhere over here by the... Yeah, we're here. By the pony. I want to ride a pony through a field of peony. I would like to ride a pony through a prairie of peony. Hello? Ride the pony through the prairie of peony. Last night she was like, I'm sick, I have a fever. Feel my forehead. I'm like, alright, nope, you're fine. You're actually cool to the touch. I think you'll be fine. You just take a nap. I don't feel well. You're tired. It's called being tired. Take a nap. Then she said that to me today. She's like, I don't feel well. I was like, okay. She's like, what? You don't care? I was like, you're fine. All of a sudden you don't feel well, and we got off to take the bus, and I was like, alright, let's go back in the subway. Then I don't feel well. I kind of do get annoyed though when I travel with someone who speaks the language and has cell service, and you ask them about stuff to look it up or something. Like, she's been pretty good about that. I've asked her to look stuff up, and she's basically just ignored me and continued to play around on WeChat or whatever, you know. And I'm like, alright, well, don't complain to me then if we go there and it turns out to be closed or whatever. And this is what happened the other day when she threw the temper tantrum. I was like, I told you this is what we were doing, and that the only frame of reference that I had was I saw it on one of the tourist maps, and I don't know what it is, and it might be like a gallery, or it might be an actual, like, legitimate museum, but it's only a 10, 20, 15, 20-minute walk, and we have to go to that to get to the other thing, so I'd like to see it along the way. But I am hard to travel with in that sense. The thing about traveling, if you know you only have one shot to see something, and that it doesn't really make sense for you to traipse across town from one thing to another, like a lot of the guidebook itineraries for people who are here for 3 days, sure, run around town from this to that in some wacky, like, itinerary that has you doing stuff that I would spend 3 days to a week doing, one museum maybe, and they have you visiting it for an hour or two. But other things like this, like getting here, could take an hour or two. And then the actual walking around, half hour, not that much. And there's really not that much intellectual to it. You could read all these signs if you want. You're not going to remember any of it. All the different gods, in an esoteric religion like Taoism. But even Buddhism with its pantheon of all stars, It's not so bad as Hinduism, I guess. That's the really confusing one to me. Yuan Chen Deity Hall. Ming Chong year 1190, Emperor Zhengzong, Jin Dynasty. I went to Marco Polo Bridge, which dates from the Jin Dynasty yesterday. Dumu Goddess, September 9th. They get a new one every year? Or they recycle them? So they've got 2 sets of dates by 3-year intervals. The thing about religion is I don't really have enough interest to like dissect it and figure out, you know? They're all essentially like, when you get into this stuff, the dogma and the pantheon and the wacky supernatural beliefs, it's like, oh really? Like frogs, witchcraft, Hufflepuff. Might as, might as well show you my laundry list for all the sense it really makes. This guy's got a dragon, huh? What are you doing with that dragon? The incense can be kind of gross too at these places. Here's a rockery. The idea of the rockery is to bring the mountain and nature inside. You see them in a lot of gardens, Chinese gardens. And they use grotesque rocks cemented together to create labyrinths. The most famous one that I know of in China is Shijilin, named after a lion because the grotesque rocks kind of look like lions, which are garden deities in Buddhism. But it's just in one of the civil gardens in Suzhou. Stage for performance. Yesterday I went to Laoshi Tea House at the end of the day and saw the performance. It's a variety act. I'd recommend going to Laoshi Tea House versus doing anything else in Beijing, because you're going to pay 200, plus to go see the acrobat show and the gong fu show and all the different shows. Basically, they do a little small excerpt of it at Laoshi Tea House, and you get tea and snacks with it in a much more comfortable setting, and it's a bit easier to get to off Qianmen stop. And you can have dinner at the first KFC that opened in China on the walk to it from Qianmen subway stop, which is what I did. So, not a big deal. Versus trying to run around to Tianqiao Theater and the Red Theater there to see the Gong Fu show and the acrobat show. I think it's Tianqiao Theater. And paying such a high price for each one, sitting through it saying, I can't wait for this to be over. The tea house one, I kind of got the feeling of I couldn't wait for it to be over, but each act only lasted 10-15 minutes, so it's an hour and a half show. I think they did like 5 acts. Li Ju, ancestor of thunder. I don't know if we popped into this one before. Well, that's about it. I think I'll stop recording now and take some high-res photos. It's always fun to walk around and see if you can get a photo of a monk on a mobile. Monk on a mobile. It's a fun photo to get.